it's Steph. Thanks for clicking. This is my finale for Projects and Panning, a Dungeons & Dragons themed project pan. This project was created by Allie of Wonder and Alleyland. It started last year on October 15th and it ends today. I am filming this on October 15th. I'm not sure if it's going to go up today or not. It might not get up till tomorrow, but I am ending on time technically. In this project, there are 5 lists of prompts. You have a race, class, location, a monster to encounter, and also a wondrous item. You pick one thing from each list to work on at a time for a total of 5 items. As I was doing that, I was weaving those prompts together into a story. So starting at the beginning for the very last time, and then we will conclude our tale today. Elyas Reedgrove was a halfling rogue who liked to stay up late at the taverns, and one night he stayed until the wee hours of the morning and came home to find his wife frantic. Their daughter Orani had been taken by a dragon into the Forbidden Forest, and their house was left as a wreck. Elyas set out to rescue his daughter, and he took with him the deck of illusions to help. He went through the Forbidden Forest and snuck past Tiamat, the queen of the dragons, for whom Orani was given as tribute. He made his way to the hoard while the deck of illusions served as a distraction, and he found his daughter, but she had a fellow captive, an Elven Bard named Loraphine Nightflower. Loraphine stole the Bloodwell Vial because she sensed that it was something wicked and didn't want the evil dragon queen to have it. The 3 of them ran through the forest, but one of Tiamat's dragon guards saw them. It chased them as Elyas and Loraphine fought it, and Orani was able to find the opening to the abandoned mine and led them inside for shelter. They were able to defeat the dragon from inside the mine. However, the struggle did weaken the integrity of the mine floor, and Loraphine fell through into the Tomb of the Lost. Loraphine didn't even get a chance to get her bearings before she was attacked by a beholder. It paralyzed her with its paralyzing eye ray. Fortunately for her, her half-elf cousin, a barbarian, was a very famous adventurer, and whenever Loraphine didn't show up for her scheduled flute performance, she went looking for Loraphine. Zelkilia, also known as Kill, made her grand entrance by causing a landslide, which killed the beholder. Loraphine was able to throw off the paralysis and filled Kill in on what had happened so far. Kill and Loraphine agreed that probably the best thing to do with the Bloodwell Vial would be to hide it somewhere in the Tomb of the Lost so it can be lost there forever. While Loraphine did that, Kill looted the dungeon. She found a hat of disguise, which she donned immediately because that way she could avoid her adoring fans because sometimes they get a little bit annoying. She also found herself a new sword, but it wasn't really a sword, it was a mimic. Elyas and Orani did manage to find a safer way into the Tomb of the Lost, and the group was rejoined. They spent a while wandering through the tomb looking for the exit and eventually found it. Kill was able to lead them back to town, and Orani was delivered to her mother. Since the house was still a wreck and also halfling-sized, Elyas, his wife, gave him permission to take his new friends to the hometown tavern to buy them dinner and drinks as a thank you. That did not go according to plan because when they arrived at the hometown tavern, there was a pair of owlbears looting through the garbage. Kill drew her new sword in an attempt to fight them off, but the sword revealed itself as a mimic, stole the hat of disguise, and ran off. Someone from the crowd chased after the mimic while the trio fought the owlbears. As the encounter with the owlbears continued, the stranger returned. He was a human warlock named Werner, and he needed to discuss the whereabouts of the Bloodwell Vial with the rest of the heroes. They defeated the owlbears, and Kill got to a pair of the lightly used boots of speed because those would be very helpful in her adventures as well. She didn't trust Werner and didn't give any direct answers to his questions, but behind her, the garbage pile started to shudder and a gelatinous cube emerged. It immediately swallowed the nearby Loraphine. Kill tried to help, but she learned that the boots of speed had been thrown away because they were covered with sovereign glue, and now her hands were stuck to the boots, and she wasn't able to help her cousin this time. Werner refused to assist until he was told where the Bloodwell Vial was, but Elyas informed him that the only person who'd given him the location of the Bloodwell Vial was the person in the cube, so Werner had no choice but to try to help Loraphine. He grabbed her ankles and started pulling, and he managed to pull her to the nearby comfy cabin. With another heave, he was able to free Loraphine from the cube, and the cube melted onto the ground. Kill was able to unstick her hands from the boots of speed. Werner still did not learn the location of the Bloodwell Vial, nor did he get a chance to explain. His patron had allied himself with a powerful sorcerer, and together, in an effort to control more magic, they decided that they wanted to make some certain mythical creatures extinct since they were inherently magical. That magic would have to go somewhere, and they intended to collect it for themselves to get a larger slice of the pie. Warner's patron was onto him and caught up to him at the comfy cabin before he was able to explain his alliance to his new acquaintances, and the fight with Asmodeus ensued. Warner did have some magic that was not a gift from Asmodeus. He had with him the Ring of Elemental Command, so he was able to defend himself using that. Today we're going to find out if Asmodeus was defeated and find out the fate of the world. As I mentioned, Warner is a human, and a human is a long haul product, something that will take you to the end of the project to finish. And for that, I picked this sunscreen serum in SPF 30 from the brand Everyday Humans. It's a nice serum. It feels really hydrating. It feels more like a moisturizer than a typical sunscreen, so I liked that about it. It is not waterproof, so on really hot days when I was sweating, it would get in my eyes, which was uncomfortable. But I did like it, and I might repurchase it, though I would want something waterproof as well for other applications. And I was trying to finish it. You can see my marks on there, and it is not gone. I went to use this just the other day, and I'm still getting product out of this without a problem, so A+ on the packaging. It looks like it's doing a great job at getting product out of here. You can tell that at the bottom the corners are starting to turn upward because it's sucking out, but this is not a gold met for human, unfortunately. A warlock is someone who has magical powers as a result of a deal that they made. They got magical powers from some sort of powerful entity, and then they have to serve that entity in return. So I made a pact with Nikki Pearson, and we agreed to work on our Elf Poreless Putty primers. She's on hiatus right now, but I had a goal of using this 16 times, and today I am wearing it for the 16th time. I had 7 uses at the last update. There's what it looks like now. I'm really surprised I didn't hit jar in this. I don't use a lot of it. I just put it about there whenever I use it. That's where I have more pores or larger pores that are more visible. And so this isn't gone, but it is a goal met for Warlock. I do like this product, but I like the Smashbox Smoothing Primer better, and this is like a second primer, so I'd rather do this in one step. So even though the Smashbox one is more expensive, I would go that route instead in the future. This epic showdown was occurring in the comfy cabin. That is a comfort product, and I tend to relax when I use face masks. So this is the LMS Pro Collagen Quartz Lift Mask. This is discontinued. I had a goal of using this 12 times. At the last update I had 8 uses. I did get the last 4, so I have my 12 uses on this. It's an alright mask. I don't think it's worth LMS prices, so I wouldn't buy it again even if it were still available. Of course, it might have been more effective if I hadn't waited so long to use it. It might have worked better when it was new, but it is a goal met for this project. Though it's not an empty, it's probably only about half full now. But this is still in my collection, but it is out of the project as a goal met. And then there's Asmodeus. He is represented in this project as a 9-pan palette. This is the Beauty Bakery The Chosen Bun palette. There are 9 shades in here. I had a goal of using this 6 times. At the last update, I had, I believe, 9 uses. I did get the other 7, and I am wearing this today for the 16th total time. I'm wearing the shade Gourmet, Dough, Cinnamon, and Brown Sugar. They are all on my lid right now. So this is a goal met. I do really like this palette. I kind of wish there were a shade between Cinnamon and Brown Sugar. It's kind of a stark contrast between the two, but I really like the shade Gourmet. That's my favorite in the palette, and I'm going to be keeping this palette around. These are the sparkliest shadows that I have in my collection currently. I usually don't go for a super sparkly look, but I like having that option when I want it in this palette. And lastly, Werner was armed with the Ring of Elemental Command that is represented by something that relates to one of the 4 elements. I went with water. This is the Fenty Baby What It Do Travel Size Makeup Refreshing Spray. I had a goal of using this 10 times. At the last update I had 4 uses. I did get the other 6, so this is also a goal met. I don't think this is available anymore. I don't think there's anything special about it, so I probably wouldn't buy this again. I think I got this as a gift with purchase, but it does work and I will keep it around. I prefer other setting sprays over this one. So Asmodeus has been defeated. Werner was able to use the Ring of Elemental Command to control the water in the comfy cabin and used it to drown Asmodeus. So Asmodeus has been defeated and the world is safe from his scheme to slaughter the magical creatures in order to gain more magic for himself. Exhausted and wet, they collapsed from the soggy furniture. Kill reminded Werner that he has something of hers, and maybe they should just leave the Bloodwell Vial where it is. There's no more immediate threat from Asmodeus, but they can just leave it where Loraphine put it. Warner agreed and reached into his cloak to pull out the hat of disguise to return it to her, and realized it wasn't there. He attempted to summon the hat to him, but that didn't work because with Asmodeus dead, he no longer has his warlock powers because the contract is broken. So Werner is now simply a human and not a warlock any longer. Loraphine noticed that Elyas had also mysteriously gone missing. He had stolen the hat of disguise from Werner and returned to his wife. He informed her and his daughter that they are moving to a larger city, where they can presumably be safe from dragon attacks and owlbears, and so he donned the hat of disguise, put his wife and daughter in the back of a wagon, and left town without anyone recognizing who he was. Loraphine was determined to never travel alone again, so she accompanied her cousin Kill on her adventures and also stopped at taverns to tell stories about her famous cousin and play her flute. Werner was now no longer able to practice magic with the pact being broken, and he was reluctant to enter into a new one, so he decided that those who can't do teach, he moved to a magic university where he taught magical theory to students. So there ends our tale, and so does this project. It is not coming back for another round. This was my favorite project I did this year, so that makes me really sad. I know it wasn't very popular, so I understand why it's not returning. But I think Allie did a great job with this. I wouldn't have been able to distill Dungeons and Dragons into something that was easy to follow. It's a very complicated sort of game, and I wouldn't have been able to make 5 lists of prompts that work together that way. So thank you, Allie. And this project is over, but I do have other ones that are still ongoing, so I will see you in another one of those videos. Good luck with your projects. Bye.